The President of the United States of America is the elected head of state and head of government of the United States. The President leads the executive branch of the federal government and is the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces. The President of the United States is considered one of the world's most powerful people. The role includes being the Commander-in-Chief of the world's most expensive military with the largest nuclear arsenal and leading the nation having the largest economy by real and nominal GDP. Described as the world's only contemporary superpower, the office of the President holds significant hard and soft power both in the United States and abroad. Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution vests the executive power of the United States in the President. The power includes execution of federal law, alongside the responsibility of appointing federal executive, diplomatic, regulatory and judicial officers, and concluding treaties with foreign powers with the advice and consent of the Senate. The President is further empowered to grant federal pardons and reprieves, and to convene and adjourn either or both houses of Congress under extraordinary circumstances. The President is largely responsible for dictating the legislative agenda of the party to which the President is enrolled. The President also directs the foreign and domestic policy of the United States. Since the founding of the United States, the power of the President and the federal government has grown substantially. The President is indirectly elected by the people through the Electoral College to a 4-year term, and is one of only 2 nationally elected federal officers, the other being the Vice President of the United States. The 22nd Amendment, adopted in 1951, prohibits anyone from ever being elected to the presidency for a 3rd full term. It also prohibits a person from being elected to the presidency more than once if that person previously had served as president or acting president for more than 2 years if another person's term as president. In all, 43 individuals have served 44 presidencies spanning 56 full 4-year terms. On January 20, 2009, Barack Obama became the 44th and current president. On November 6, 2012, he was re-elected and is currently serving the 57th term, which ends on January 20, 2017. Origin: in 1776, the 13 colonies, acting through the Second Continental Congress, declared political independence from Great Britain during the American Revolution. The new states, though independent of each other as nation-states, recognized the necessity of closely coordinating their efforts against the British, desiring to avoid anything that remotely resembled a monarchy. Congress negotiated the Articles of Confederation to establish a weak alliance between the states. As a central authority, Congress under the Articles was without any legislative power. It could make its own resolutions, determinations, and regulations, but not any laws, nor any taxes or local commercial regulations enforceable upon citizens. This institutional design reflected the conception of how Americans believed the deposed British system of Crown and Parliament ought to have functioned with respect to the royal dominion, a superintending body for matters that concerned the entire empire. Out from under any monarchy, the states assigned some formerly royal prerogatives to Congress, while severally lodging the rest within their own respective state governments. Only after all the states agreed to a resolution settling competing Western land claims did the Articles take effect on March 1, 1781, when Maryland became the final state to ratify them. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris secured independence for each of the former colonies. With peace at hand, the states each turned toward their own internal affairs. By 1786, Americans found their continental borders besieged and weak, their respective economies in crises as neighboring states agitated trade rivalries with one another, witnessed their hard currency pouring into foreign markets to pay for imports, their Mediterranean commerce preyed upon by North African pirates, and their foreign financed Revolutionary War debts unpaid and accruing interest. civil and political unrest loomed. Following the successful resolution of commercial and fishing disputes between Virginia and Maryland at the Mount Vernon Conference in 1785, Virginia called for a trade conference between all the states, set for September 1786 in Annapolis, Maryland, with an aim toward resolving further-reaching interstate commercial antagonisms. When the convention failed for lack of attendance due to suspicions among most of the other states, the Annapolis delegates called for a convention to offer revisions to the Articles, to be held the next spring in Philadelphia. Prospects for the next convention appeared bleak until James Madison and Edmund Randolph succeeded in securing George Washington's attendance to Philadelphia as a delegate for Virginia. When the Constitutional Convention convened in May 1787, the 12 state delegations in attendance brought with them an accumulated experience over a diverse set of institutional arrangements between legislative and executive branches from within their respective state governments. Most states maintained a weak executive without veto or appointment powers, elected annually by the legislature to a single term only, sharing power with an executive council, and counted by a strong legislature. New York offered the greatest exception, having a strong, unitary governor with veto and appointment power elected to a 3-year term, and eligible for re-election to an indefinite number of terms thereafter. It was through the closed-door negotiations at Philadelphia that the presidency framed in the U.S. Constitution emerged.